That it's a question that everybody asks,
Yeah.
and the answer is always a very fast no.
After being abroad for quite a while, one day I thought that the best thing I could do with all those experiences was to share them. The good times, the challenges, the lessons learned. Many years, 3 continents, and a lot to say. Because quite simply, I think it could help you. It could benefit you and all of us. El mundo espera. The world awaits. A space to connect and share tips, advice, and experiences. And not just mine, like you're about to see. Hi, Livio. How are you doing?
So I'm doing great.
Where are you based now?
Right now, I'm based in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah,
Have you been there for a long time?
Yeah, it's been 9 years and a half now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that. The first question I have is, what made you leave your country of origin? What was it that started the whole journey?
I always wanted to live, work, and experience life in a different country. Why? I don't know. Maybe I always felt like the world was bigger than one country, right?
Nice.
Well, I'm from Milan. Yeah, Milan is a beautiful city.
Do you ever think of going back?
That it's a question that everybody asks,
Yeah.
and the answer is always a very fast no.
Okay.
For the same very reason, yeah, the world is big, right? I've been in Southeast Asia for 14 years now.
Okay.
So before Vietnam, I was in Indonesia, and then I think our kids, we have 2 kids, they will, maybe they could go to university when they grow up in Milan. That wouldn't be a bad thing.
You talk about your kid. I have so many questions based on it. Sounds really interesting. You talked about 2 kids. I'm assuming only, but I don't want to assume that doing the math, they were probably not born in Italy. Is that right?
No, they were both born here in Ho Chi Minh City.
Okay.
Yeah, we moved from Indonesia to Vietnam, and my wife was pregnant.
Okay.
With my first kid, Nora. So that's how long we've been here. So
Right.
I can measure the time in Vietnam by the size of my daughter. It's a good metric. It's a very visual reminder of how long we've been here. Right. And then Timo, my son, was born here 4 years and a half ago.
Nice. Do you communicate in Italian, in English? How does that go? I assume they go to school. I don't know if they go to school and learn one or the
They
other
go
language.
to international schools.
Okay.
Somehow their first language is English.
Okay.
Yes. So it's what comes more natural for them because of school. So what I do, I try to say things twice in double language, or I don't know, when we do bedtime stories or when we talk, I kind of interrogate him. Yeah. So what is this? Oh, mug. Okay. How do you say mug in Italian? Oh, I don't know. Oh, you say tazza. Okay, tazza. And then that's the ways to try to help him to. Also, because as I said, we're going to Italy now, and we hope they're going to spend a little bit of time with the grandparents who don't speak English, so they need to speak Italian.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
That the dynamics that are generated as a result, no?
Yeah, but to be very honest, because we got friends here from all over the world, right? And some kids they speak like 3-4 languages like this.
Yeah.
So right now, if you speak 2 languages, it's expected, right? It's now expected to speak at least 2 languages, right? So you need to be able to speak 3, 4 if you want to be, if you want to have that edge, right, in the future.
Some folks that may be watching maybe are thinking about going to another country, or because you've been around for a while outside of Italy, what have you learned? What advice would you give them?
Do it.
Okay.
You will have hundreds of doubts, you will be scared, you will be, and it's normal, yeah, to be scared, to have doubts, to question, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna adjust and all of that? Yeah. But it's the biggest gift that you can do to yourself, and to your kids if you have kids. It's the only way that you truly understand that the world is bigger and it's more diverse. We tend to live in our own bubble, of our own culture, right? And that's all we know, right? But the more we expose ourselves to what's out there, the more we grow, the more we understand better. Or we don't, yeah. Even if we don't understand it, it's fine. But at least we know that something else exists, right? And that is the biggest gift that somebody can do to themselves. Yeah.
I love the thinking it's true. You don't need to understand it, and you don't need to agree with it or like it. No, it's just that it's better to see than not to see it, I guess. What would you say is the nicest thing about living abroad?
I think meeting people, yeah, meeting people from all over.
Okay.
Because, for example, here in Vietnam, we have friends from pretty much everywhere, right? And because of that, you get so many different perspectives, right?
I asked you about the nicest part. What's the toughest part of living abroad?
It could be work, I think, because you need to adjust to different ways of doing things, to different attitude, it's a different language, but not in terms of language, in terms of a different approach to things, a different mentality. Another thing is that then you're on your own, right? When you live in your own city, your own country, you basically have your own family, pretty much, right? 2 hours or 15 minutes, 2 hours, you can reach one of your relatives, right? And the second, third thing is, which is probably the hardest, I think, is the people leave, right? So you make friends, you create a network, right? Because you don't have a family, so you create a network of people. But then those people have to move on, right? Maybe they go to a different country, or they have to go back home, right? So there's moments where you could feel a little lonely because of that, right? Because the network that you have created somehow fades away, right?
I assume that from going or living most of your life, I assume in Italy, to now being there, it's a different part of the world in a lot of aspects. If you had to choose one, what was the biggest surprise you got when you went there?
I tried to do some research about Jakarta, yeah, trying to talk with friends, but I think it's even worse, because the more you read, you will never understand you will never understand the how it feels like. You need to really be there to truly see what it's like, right? Especially these places like Jakarta. I don't think many people have been to Jakarta. It's not a touristic place, right? It's a Muslim country, so there's also that is very, very different from what I was used to. So for that experience, that was my first experience. The surprise was how much religion was part of everyday life.
If you could go back in time to talk to yourself, I guess, knowing what you know now and you experience, would you change? Would you have done anything differently?
I would have done it earlier if
Oh,
possible.
okay.
Why? I don't know, because I feel that when you're used to a routine, right? Weeks, months, year pass by, and you don't really see it, but you're doing the same things all over, right? And you're not really expanding and growing, right? I have changed a lot from the moment that I stepped down from the first airplane.
You said you had 2 kids. I have a kid too, and the slight difference is that mine was born in my country of origin, but I guess we took him when he was about 3 years old and started going around the planet. In your case, how does that feel? Like, even though there's a huge aspect of learnings and experiences and things that are awesome, do you feel like this duality of being happy for them, guilt? How does it feel to travel with kids
Well,
or
again,
being abroad with kids? Yeah.
there's two phases, right? They know from early age that they are citizen of the world and not just citizen of one country. Yeah. So, and that is something that it's ingrained since they are born, right? So I guess we discovered that later in life. For them, it's at the very beginning. Now, in my case, are my kids Italian? I don't know. I mean, yes, they hold an Italian passport. Are they really Italian? We try to pass to them what we think is good about Italian culture. Yeah, but because they don't live it, right? Are they truly Italian? I don't know. Is it even a positive thing? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it was difficult to take. I always wanted to do it, but the moment that they offer you something, it's like, fuck. Okay, now it's real. Yeah. What do I do? I'm gonna say something that maybe it's a little controversial. Yeah. But there's some expat families that they cannot wait to go back home, right? So they travel home every 6 months. They do Christmas, they do summer, they do. Then are you really? Why are you doing that? Right? Then it feels like they're so attached to, right, that maybe they're not really experienced that much, right?
Because you went from Italy to Southeast Asia, which feels like new territory and new exploration and a lot of the things you mentioned, how hard or easy was it to adapt? And did anything help with your adaptation?
Making friends. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. Of course, the moment that it can get lonely, right? Because the moment that you get somewhere, yeah. Of course, if you work, you meet people at work, right? So that is one thing. And then the moment that you start making friends, everything becomes easier. I think that is that is what makes it easier.
Okay. So the last question, the interviews that I do, all of them are, the middle part is everything is different depending on how the conversation goes and everything. But I'm always trying to keep the first question and the last question always the same. To me, it reflects on immigrants and where we come from and where we're going. That's why the first and the last are always the same. And the last question is, based on what you think and what you feel, how would you define an immigrant? What's an immigrant in your mind?
Cool, yet very difficult question. An immigrant needs to be somebody who's very curious, I think. So curiosity needs to be the top trait, I think. Because curiosity makes you overcome fears, it makes you overcome doubts, it makes you overcome loneliness.
Nice.
Well, that's it for today. I really appreciate your time
Thank you.
and your wisdom. So thank you
wow.
once again for
Not
joining.
sure about that. Not sure about that.
I am. Thank you very much once again. That was great.
Thank you. It was interesting to reflect back to this journey.
Yeah. Now you have the whole day ahead, and here it's almost 7 p.m. That's crazy. Again, grazie.
Prego. It was a pleasure.
That was great. Grazie, Livio. That was great. Thank you very much. And for you on the other side, what did you think? What did you like? Please put it down in the comments below. Let me know if you have any other questions, maybe that you want me to ask in future interviews. For now, I'm going to say that if you like this video, I guess you did because you're still here, click the like button or subscribe so we can stay in touch and you can keep seeing more and more content from the channel. For now, that's it. Thank you very much. See you next time.